All right, everybody, and welcome to the new. Did we change the name, Steven?
Yes, we did. Now new.
The new. The
Welcome
Nintendo
to new podcast. It's all new.
It is all new with some sort of strange Eastern European accent on the new. Wow.
It sounds a little French, actually.
That was horrible. Welcome to the Nintendo Pulse podcast, episode number 41. As always, I can't talk, and I'm Lloyd Hannison, and joining me, as you heard, Stephen Munn.
Hi.
Stephen, how is it going?
It is going very well.
It is. Are you all de-jet lagged?
I am. I'm finally de-jet lagged. It took a little bit more than a week. The Wikipedia entry was all wrong. It said traveling east to west is supposed to produce a lot less jet lag than traveling west to east. I actually had the opposite effect, where I felt no jet lag traveling east, and I went to the opposite side of the planet. So I went as far as you can get in terms of time difference. So at the time, because of, I live in New York State, and because of the daylight saving time, it was a 13-hour difference.
Wow.
From my starting point to my ending point. It was 13 hours in the future. And that's as far. That's the best you can do. It's the worst you can do to your body. But I felt no jet lag on the trip there, which I don't know if it was the sun or just the fact that I didn't sleep for 4 days before I got there, and then I just crashed. But for whatever reason, I did fine once I was there. But coming back, I was pretty much destroyed for, I would say, about 8 or 9 days. I couldn't do anything, but I got up in the morning, I went to work. By the time I got home, I was exhausted. I took care of my daughter, put her to bed, and then I went to sleep. And then I'd wake up and go to work again. So
that's harsh, man. That is horrible. Actually, I get jet lagged flying home with like an hour or two. Like I wake up the next morning and I feel kind of like I have the flu, and then it goes away in about a day. So I can't imagine what traveling like halfway around the world would do to me. Like my heart would just explode or something.
It was rough. It was really rough. And I can't sleep on planes, apparently. So,
neither can I.
24, 26-hour flight, hours of time in travel, including like the layover on the way there, was pretty brutal. So
wow.
And I was afraid of planes before I did it too.
Oh wow. So you're fighting all sorts of issues.
Yeah. I got over that pretty quick though, and I had a feeling I would.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, do you have fear of podcasting?
No.
Good. So let's get right into the show then. All right, so we're back. We took a little hiatus with Stephen being gone for a few weeks and other things, nature conspiring against us to prevent these things from happening. But we're back, and we're kind of starting anew here. So we're going to try to get these episodes out at least once every 2 weeks. We're going to try for weekly. I know Stephen has some scheduling issues, and so do I. Having little ones, it kind of makes for unpredictability. So we're gonna try as best we can to get as many shows out there. I've been getting a lot of great emails from all the listeners out there. A lot of people contacting us on Twitter. If you do use Twitter, just check out myself and Steven. I'm at Dasme on Twitter, and Steven is at Stephen J. Munn. Is that right?
Yes, I am.
So add us on Twitter, chat with us. We love to hear from you guys. And we also have forums up at vgpodcast.com/forums. There's a lot of people there that are chatting about gaming, about all systems, not just Nintendo, about everything under the sun. Because I do a whole pile of other shows here on the network. We do the Touch of Gaming, which is an iOS show. We do the bonus stage every Friday night, which is kind of our general gaming, just screw around for 2 hours on a Friday night kind of show. And then we also do the full-on indie, which is interviews with independent developers. We do that one every 2 weeks. It's a partnership between myself and a local indie game developer here in Winnipeg, Manitoba, where I'm located. So there's lots of stuff and lots of people chatting over on the forum. So if you have some spare time and you want to chat with other gamers, I do urge you to check out the forums. All right, well, let's get into the show proper. Steven, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you've been playing? I think I have a couple things to say on a couple games, so we'll let you start off, and I'll jump in when I need to.
Sure. Well, a couple of months ago, after the last time we podcasted, I played some more of The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword on Wii, and I haven't really touched it since because I got to the second of the Silent Realms, the one in the Nehru Silent Realm, and I don't know how far you got in the game. If you remember the Silent Realms,
Nope.
No. The Silent Realms are they're kind of like a dark world version of the three different land regions of the game.
Right.
And you have to go through. It's like the Phantom. It's like dealing with the phantoms in Phantom Hourglass, where you have to go stealthy and not be spotted and stuff. And when you walk in certain areas, it's they hear you and come running, and if they hit you, you get knocked back to a safe spot. Except in this, if they hit you, you have to start all the way over at the beginning, and you have to collect some 15 seeds from around this large area without getting caught. And each time you grab one, it gives you a little bit more time and stuff like that. Whenever the Zelda games throw in any kind of stealth, I stop enjoying myself because, this isn't Metal Gear. This is Zelda. and I really don't think that they've handled the stealth thing well since Wind Waker. They did a little bit of it in Wind Waker. I don't know if you remember, where you had to sneak around.
Yeah, hide behind different things so people wouldn't
barrels.
see you.
You'd hide in a barrel and stuff, and then the moblins wouldn't see you. That was fine. It was just a little bit, and it was okay. They did a little in Ocarina of Time as well, when you had to hide from the guards to sneak into the castle.
Right.
But this is horrible. I tried this a couple of times, and getting caught in a single hit, it's basically a single hit kill, and having to start the whole thing over again is so demoralizing and frustrating.
I really hate that personally. I picked up Hitman Absolution on Boxing Day up here in Canada, so it's like the post-Christmas sale, and I played it for, I don't know, maybe I played it for a couple hours, but I only played through the first couple missions because it's exactly like that. Like you spend all this time, but instead of just like kind of going through an area being stealthy, you go all this time kind of setting up sort of your moves. And it's like, okay, this guy's going to do this. He's going to get off the phone. He's going to get angry. He's going to yell at this guy. He's going to walk around here and he's going to go buy this thing that I'm going to blow up. And then you make one little mistake and you get like shot in the head by cops, and it's just like, okay, I just spent 40 minutes waiting for this like Rube Goldberg machine of stealthy craziness to happen, and now I have to redo it again. And it's just like, I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah, it's so frustrating that, and that's the thing with that game. It's just it's a mix of really neat moments and then just this terrible slog.
Right.
And so unbalanced that way, and I look at like the review. I think it was on IGN where they give it a 10, and I'm reading that review and I just don't understand it. I don't understand how they could see this game as a 10.
Well,
I've enjoyed a lot of Zelda games over the years, but I just do not enjoy this one.
Well, I guess they have the Zelda beer goggles on when they're doing a review, which makes sense. You get a lot of that kind of stuff.
Sure. The other thing I've been playing consistently over time is Super Mario 3D Land, and that is just a great game. But I got all the way through, and then I started playing through the special stages, and I was in late World 6, and I started getting frustrated with not having enough of the big coins to get past certain points, because it would, you have to buy your way past certain points with big coins.
Right.
I got a little annoyed with having to go back and pick up a coin here and there to pass those parts. So I said, you know what? Let me just go back to the very beginning of the game, and I will get all the big coins from the easy stages. So that turned into me getting all the big coins from all the stages because I was just having such a good time with it. So I went through all the way back to the regular worlds, went through all 8 or 9, I forget, of those, and got all of the big coins. And then I went into the special stages, went all the way up into World 6, Special World 6, got all the big coins there. Made my way into 7, I got to World 7 2, and could not beat the level. I could not beat Special 7-2. It was just too hard.
Right.
And I got so frustrated with it, I was like, fine, I'm actually going to skip this level, because the game actually lets you skip levels. And I got to 7-3, and I did exactly the same thing. It was just too hard. I just couldn't beat it. And I got too frustrated. I ended up shelving Super Mario 3D Land. which is actually a familiar pattern now because I got Castlevania Lords of Shadow Mirror of Fate.
Yes.
Now I get everything Castlevania. Everything Castlevania, whether I know it's going to be garbage or not. I mean, I bought Order of Shadows for mobile phones.
Wow.
This was pre-Android, pre-iOS, crappy as hell game, and I knew it would be. And I bought it and I beat it. But I've also shelved Mirror of Fate because this is another one by the Spanish, are they Spanish Mercury Steam? I forget.
I think so.
Yeah.
Brazilian or something. I can't remember.
They're pretty sure they're in Spain. Mercury Steam. The studio's headed by Dave Cox, and this is kind of an interquel between Castlevania Lords of Shadow, which came out a couple of years ago, 2010, for PS3 and 360, and Lords of Shadow 2, which is supposed to come out at some point in the future. It takes place between the two games, and it's supposed to kind of bridge the stories. It's not a bad-looking game in terms of it's got some style and
yeah.
Some of the animations are nice.
It's a 3D 2D game, so you're in a 3D world, but you're kind of locked to a 2D plane. Every once in a while, it will shift kind of to like a 3/4 view and then go back to side scrolling. So it's an interesting looking feel. Really dark though, like really dark.
And not much of a color palette. It's very gray, very brown, and it's like. It's like one of those 2.5D games where where it really should be. It's really a design that was invented for sprites, where collisions are pixel perfect, and with everything being 3D rendered or 3D modeled, it can be really hard to tell when something's going to hit you or not.
Yep.
And it's very frustrating. It's very frustrating to play an action platformer where you don't know where the collisions are going to be, and the jumps are inconsistent. Have you noticed this?
Yeah.
How far you will jump from point to point?
Yeah, there's that. Running, like you'll push fully on the circle pad, and you'll just start walking. It's like, no,
yeah.
I heard the tick from when I went all the way to the right. Why are you not running? So yeah, the controls definitely have some major issues.
Yeah, and when you're doing combat, the whip attacks go all the way across the screen. You can cover pretty much the entire screen with a whip strike, and this is, to me, this looks like this is to compensate for some of the other design problems.
A little bit of God of War envy as well going on with some of the way the animations kind of move. Sure,
but the real downfall of the game for me so far. Oh, okay. Let's start with the puzzles. The puzzles are kind of a disaster because they're so obtusely designed and everything is so small on the screen, and you can change the camera angle, but it really doesn't help, that the puzzles are just much more difficult than they really should be. It's like the game should be played at 1080p or something like that, but you're playing it at what was 360p on a 3DS.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually said this. Dave Cox said that they designed the game in HD and scaled it down to the 3DS so that they could release it on HD platforms later. This was a big mistake because the game just does not work at this size. Thank God I'm playing it on an XL, or was playing it on an XL. Can't even imagine on a regular 3DS what it would be.
I don't know how you would even read the fonts. The fonts are small on the XL and hard to read, and they would kind of just all bleed together on a standard 3DS for sure.
I had to buy my way through several of the puzzles, including one that I solved myself. I had the puzzle solved, and I still had to buy the solution because it wouldn't trigger that I had completed the puzzle.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you're buying them with experience. Like when you go into a puzzle, you'll get 1,000 experience points if you beat it without using any of the hints.
Mm-hmm.
But every time you use a hint, the purse goes down by 200 experience points until finally at the end you can use the last 200 to just pass the puzzle. So just go past the puzzle, which is a godsend because otherwise, at least one of them for me turned out to be unbeatable. And then there's the boss battles.
Oh God.
You think the boss battles are probably the where they drop the ball the most?
Oh, there's so many problems. Like, well, pull back just a tiny bit. I played this game as the demo, and I posted on the forums, VG Podcast forums. I talked about it on Twitter. I talked about it on the bonus stage, and I received probably about 10 different communications from people that had played the full release and said, go get it. So those are emails, those are tweets, those are people posting in the forum. And it's like, okay, well, maybe the demo is just really, really busted. So I went and I picked up the full version, and the first part of the game seemed really, really well done. Like, you're Simon, you have a real whip, not this chain thing that was annoying. Some of the controls seemed a little bit like more crisp. Everything was great, and I was like, okay, I don't know what I was thinking. And then once you're done Act 1 and you go to Act 2, you take on the role of Alucard, and basically everything that you've acquired, because this game is sort of like the Symphony of the Night, kind of, where you're learning different abilities which allow you to get to different areas. This game is different in from that, where you're actually controlling multiple people as you go through the story, and it's all taking place at the same time. Like when you're with Alucard, you see some of the stuff that you played through in Act 1, but you're kind of like a third person watching it kind of happen below you. So once you get to Alucard and they take away like the shield item that uses magic whenever you get hit, I was finding myself dying from normal creatures. It was like, okay, I had to relearn how to play this level. And from that, you go into the boss battles. Boss battles in Act 1 were annoying, but they weren't difficult. In Act 2, like the first boss, I had to restart like a dozen times, and it's like, okay, what am I doing wrong here? And the boss battles, what they've done is they've made them so difficult, but to compensate for the difficulty of the boss battles, they basically have 3 phases in a boss. So once you get to 1/3 life, the boss does something fancy, like whether it's an attack or an animation or something, and then continues on attacking. If you die during that second attack, you respawn with full health at the second part, so you've already killed half of his, or 1/3 of his life, and then that happens again usually at 2/3, and then once you get him or her close to death, then you'll basically do the attack animation, which are really janky. The quick time events are really poorly done in this game.
Oh god, yeah.
But that's boss battle. So you just have to like soldier on as hard as you can to get to that animation. And then you know that you can pretty much just give up, let him kill you, so that you respawn with full health, and then you take on phase 2, and then you take on phase 3. So the battles are still really, really annoying. So it's like, okay, so I have to deal with this annoying boss battle 3 times essentially. and it's like, well, why didn't you just make the bosses easier if you're going to let people kind of like cheat their way through the battle at the end of the day? I don't know, to me it's just like, from a design standpoint, it just seems really bizarre.
Sure. And it changes later on too. I don't know if you're at this point yet, but you're talking about the boss battles being split into 3 sections. Some of them are split into even more than that. I think there have been 4 and 5. Oh, the one that I was playing when I stopped doesn't seem to have the checkpoints at all. The life bar is huge. You do very, very little damage when you hit it. It does lots of damage, and when you die and respawn at the beginning of the very beginning of the battle. It seems, unless there's checkpoints later or whatever.
Sure.
I just haven't been able to reach. And I'm not starting with full health. I'm starting with half health.
Wow. Yeah. It's so, again, this is another point where they've taken kind of what they've taught you throughout the game, the kind of learning experience on how this game controls, and then just like changed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm probably, from what I understand, I'm about halfway through Act 2. So I'm maybe about halfway through the game. I'm not hating it, but as we were talking in the pre-show before the game, like I would be 100% okay with all of this if it wasn't a Castlevania game, because there's certain expectations as to what a Castlevania game is. Even more so when they take some aspects from like the Symphony of the Night, where you have a map system with blocks and you can see kind of rooms that you've explored. But it's not like Symphony of the Night at all, where there's big load times. You can't get to all areas as your character, so you're frustrated trying to figure out how to get there, and not like Symphony of the Night where it's like, oh, I need to learn how to become a bat and then I can come back to this room. You won't be able to come back to this room as that character. You'll be coming back as a different character, and you'll have a different set of abilities. And it's like, well, you're using aspects from a game that is like a lot of people think is the best Castlevania, and then you really do nothing from that. So it's almost like you're insulting people, showing them kind of a taste of what's to come, but then it never is to come. So I don't know. I'm gonna try to finish the game just because I don't want to waste my money. But I'm gonna try to play it at not as a Castlevania, just as some like God of War ripoff, and try to make my way through it without being too annoyed at the bosses. But it's tough, man. I got to tell you, when you get to some of the boss battles and they do like super cheap moves, they do unblockable moves. But this one boss would hit me with an unblockable move. I'd fly back, I'd land and hit the ground, and then he would jump at me and then start the animation to do another one of those again. So I would just get up just in time to be hit again, and then basically killed me. And I'm not a really angry gamer, but I was like wanting to punch my 3DS and throw it across the room.
I actually threw my 3DS.
It gets really, really annoying, and we'll see if I can soldier on past that. But there's so many great games coming out. Maybe I'll have an excuse not to play it in a little bit. We'll see.
Yeah, and I got most of the way. I think I'm near the very end of Act 2 before I reached this boss battle, and yeah, I mean, I think I've already figured out the big plot twist in the game.
Right.
They kind of, it's very confusing early on, but then they pretty much hand it right to you, and it's like, okay, well, you know, at the time I was only about halfway through the game, and I'm like, okay, I'm halfway through this game. If they've just handed me the plot twist this obviously, you know, they better be trying to like bait me away from it. They better be trying to mislead me.
Right.
But yeah.
What do you think of the all the cutscene animation is some weird anime sort of styled kind of thing. It's really bizarre.
It's got this mixed 3D cell shaded style.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
And it's fully voiced, but their mouths don't move.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. It's odd. That kind of throws me every time that there's one of those little animations that pops up.
Yeah. I keep looking at the faces, waiting for them to actually move their mouths to talk, and they just don't do it.
I guess that saves money when you want to bring it out in multiple locations. You don't have to redub the animation to the voices.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, Castlevania. I don't really know what to say, man.
I just
other than the name is ridiculously long, and they should have thought about that before putting the game out. Castlevania Lords of Shadow, Mirror of Fate,
or LoSMoF. For short.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. So what else have you been playing besides annoying Castlevania?
Well, I made an account at VG5 a while ago. VG5 is this video game trading site, trade for points, just like on GoozeX, which is effectively defunct at this point. VG5 is very new, but the trades are going pretty well. I've gotten some really great games on there so far. I just got matched up to get Paper Mario Sticker Star and Rayman Origins, both for 3DS, at the same time. And Sticker Star arrived today, so I put maybe an hour into that so far. And so far it seems to have all the charm of the Paper Mario games that I love so much. Mm-hmm. Really enjoying that. And before that, in the wake of LoSMoF being such a disappointment and getting shelved, I played a little bit more of a Theater Rhythm Final Fantasy.
That's such a great game.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm a little bit irritated that Square Enix didn't come up with the business model for this that they've been using in iOS for it now. Which is the game is free instead of $40, and then you can buy additional songs. Yeah.
I'll have to find the tog where I kind of went off on that. We've had a lot of we've had a love-hate relationship, me and Square Enix lately, with all their crazy pricing schemes on iOS. I actually picked up Theater Rhythm, I think it was $19.99 used, so I felt pretty good at that I got it for about half price and played through it all and didn't feel like I needed to pick up any of the DLC songs.
Cool.
It's a really great game.
Yeah, and it feels good to listen to the, to the songs, even if the actual gameplay is not challenging at all. It's not an wend-on type game where it's going to challenge you. It's kind of relaxing and entertaining.
Yep.
I wish the songs were in bundles instead of 99 cents a piece, though.
Yeah. It gets kind of hard. Well, I'll talk about DLC in a little bit as well, but yeah, it gets kind of hard to kind of pony that up every single time. Mm-hmm. All right, so
and I think I'm going to buy the new 30-cent Wii U Virtual Console game that launches today.
That's right.
Is that Punch-Out?
Punch-Out, yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be good. I'll have to go pick that one up right when we're done recording.
Sure.
For sure. Awesome. Well, let's get into a little bit about what I've been playing. First off, I chatted about it on the forums a little bit, but I just wanted to reiterate how awesome Nintendo is. Not just because they're Nintendo, but also that they make it super easy for people to really do things with their consoles. When they make their consoles kind of open, sort of, in a way, like with memory, they really make it easy to do. I downloaded Castlevania Lords of Shadow Mirror of Fate as an eShop download. And I couldn't download it because my memory card was full. I had a 4 gig in my 3DS XL, and Lords of Shadow is I think it's 11,000 blocks, so it's incredibly huge. And I needed to free up some space, so I deleted Sticker Star.
Lloyd, is just as well because it doesn't come with a damn instruction manual.
Oh, it doesn't at all?
No.
That's awesome.
It's like a Vita game.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, why even put it in a box? Just
really
sell a code that you have to scratch off and punch into your console. So I ran out of space. I had to delete Sticker Star, which not good because I wanted to get in and finish that one. So I went and I picked up a 32 gig SD card, put it into my system. I took the 4 gig out, plugged it into my Mac, copied all the files off to a folder, put the 32 gig in my Mac, copied all those files back on the 32 gig, popped it in the system, and I have 200,000 blocks available or some stupid number. And then I thought back to kind of what the Vita does, where not only is the memory super expensive, like a 32 gig memory card for the Vita is $100 compared to $20 for an SD card, but it's super difficult to get the stuff off. It's not a standard thing that you can just plug in your computer, so you have to load up all this messy software to do data backup. Even then, you're not backing up every single thing that's on the card, so there's things that you could lose. Nintendo did it right, which is rare to say for Nintendo. They tend to think that the internet doesn't exist and that everybody that wants to touch your system is evil. They really did the 3DS right, making it super easy to switch from one card to another. There's no encryption as far as moving from one card to another. All the content on the card itself is encrypted, but they're not doing some crazy looking at some sort of serial number from the SD card or bad blocks and encrypting it like some other people might have done, like Sony might have done something like that. They just made it super easy, super user serviceable, and I really love that. So if anybody hasn't known that, you can just pop in a new SD card and you get more space. It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, I had to do that when I migrated from the 3DS to the 3DS XL because the XL comes with a larger SD card.
Right.
When I did the migration, it wanted me to swap the SD cards and put the smaller one into the big system.
Right.
But what I ended up just doing is, like you said, I just copied everything off using my Mac and copied it onto the other card, popped it back in, and it was fine.
It's amazing.
It never blinked.
Cheap storage.
Blinked at it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really great. So if anybody hasn't upgraded and you are wanting to download a lot of stuff on the eShop, just go buy a big card. Get the biggest size that you can. I think I was reading some forums and people have tried even the 128 gig cards, and you have to do some weird way to format it, but then you pop it in and it works, and then you have 1 million blocks free on your system, which is just absolutely insane. So
and then you don't have to feel really foolish at removing Sticker Star for a turd like LoSMoF.
Exactly. So do check that out. As for what I've been playing, I'm still making my way through Fire Emblem Awakening. I've beaten it. I'm going through and unlocking all the paralogs, which you do by basically using two of your characters, having them work together enough so that their I like you level goes up enough to that when they can get married, and then when they get married, you can then unlock their child through one of these paralogs. So I'm going through all that and having a lot of fun. I've been picking up the DLC on Fire Emblem Awakening, and DLC on a Nintendo console really kind of hurts me, like deep in my Nintendo heart. It really kind of makes me sad, because Nintendo has always said that that's something that they wouldn't do. This isn't technically a Nintendo game, so I guess I don't have to really, I don't know. It's not a Miyamoto title, I guess, where that would be a big slap in the face, even though the new Mario Brothers had it. So I guess that's an even bigger insult, but whatever. And what they did is, in this game, is there's different levels you can download. They're super quick to play, and they're really expensive. You can buy a level where you can unlock Roy as one of your playable characters and get an item, and it's like $3. So it's something that you can breeze through in about 10 minutes, even if you're not trying. So the DLC is really expensive. So what they've done with Awakening is they've kind of grouped DLCs into three kind of levels and bundled them together, and then they sell you that bundle for $6. So the first one was cheaper because the first DLC, or the first downloadable level, was free, so it was $4. Then the second group was $6, and then the third group was $6. And they just came up with a new group, and all of a sudden it's $6.50. And it's like, wait a second, you're having enough people buy it, aren't you? So you're thinking that you can raise the price to make a little bit extra money. That really kind of upset me, because I'm already spending, I've already kind of doubled the cost of my cartridge by buying all this downloadable content, because I really want to experience it. But now it seems like they're even more nickel and diming you by raising the price on it. So I don't know if I'm going to be doing too much more of the DLC. I might just kind of let Fire Emblem lay where it lays. Although it seems that when I do Street Passes, every single person owns Fire Emblem, and I've been getting a lot of Street Passes. And what Street Pass does in this game is it takes their party and then it puts it into the game, your game, and then you can fight them. And if you fight them, you get to use their main character in your party if you want. So that's still a lot of fun. So I might be playing it for that, but I might be done with the DLC. It seems to be a little bit too evil, the way that they're raising prices like that on me. So
for a company that was initially so vocally against DLC, they really are enjoying it just a bit too much.
Yeah. I can understand where, greed they'd get dollar signs in their eyes, and they'd want to do what they can, but to go from one pack to another and raise it by 50 cents, it's like, really? That's what you're going to do?
Yeah, when you go on iOS and you can get, huge, significant, high quality Epic games for what? Yeah. 99 cents, $1.99 for the whole game.
Yeah, $6.
People bought Fire Emblem for $40, and now they want expansions. So they want another $3 for the expansion.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
They're on another planet. They really are. They're a whole other planet. I have no idea.
I don't get how a level that can be beat in 10 minutes is worth $3 in Nintendo Land. But apparently it is, and I've supported them, so maybe I'm part of the problem. Maybe if people like me hadn't bought the first couple packs, they would have dropped in price. But whatever, I think I might be done with the DLC, but we'll see what happens. They might come up with some mega cool weapon, and I'll have to have it or something. But we'll see what happens. Been playing Castlevania as well. We already talked about that. And I just picked up yesterday LEGO City Undercover on my Wii U, and I've been playing that over the last couple days, both with my kids and by myself. LEGO City Undercover is the first open world LEGO game, so it's not like Star Wars where it's all a hub world with individual levels that you go to. It's more like Grand Theft Auto than it is LEGO Star Wars, but it's all bundled in this nice little happy LEGO package. You play Chase McCain, who's a police officer who's returning to LEGO City to capture a bad guy that you helped put away to begin with, who's escaped. The game is set up like a 70s cop buddy movie where there's this really cheesy but awesome funk music playing in the background. There's all these cutscenes where things slow down. And like all other LEGO games, it is very kind of tongue-in-cheek with the comedy, and it's also it references every like popular pop culture item that's around, which is kind of redundant calling popular pop culture, but whatever. Forgive me. So there's scenes where they talk about different movies, like Dirty Harry, which really isn't pop culture, but I guess that's the whole buddy cop kind of thing. There was a whole scene that played out like Matrix, where you have Morpheus that is teaching you how to learn kung fu, and then it goes into some newer things as well and some older things. There's since it's a Nintendo exclusive, at least it is right now, we'll see what happens. There's a whole bunch of Nintendo kind of cameos where I was driving in this area which basically separates, like the world itself is separated into different zones, kind of like Liberty City on Grand Theft Auto, where you have kind of different islands, but there's even more because they've kind of separated them into LEGO City one, the Egyptian one, the like more Asian themed one. So they use some of the Lego sets that are out there and kind of take some of that theme, which is really kind of fun to kind of drive around.
Like the Ninjago thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like they kind of they take the different sets and they kind of make a separate island that you can get to. So I was driving from one island to another in an underground tunnel underneath the ocean or river or whatever it is. I guess it would be an ocean, since it's an island. And I stopped part way because it looked like there was a parking lot, and I went to the side, and at the end of this big parking lot is this big aquarium in the wall, and you could see kind of fish swimming around. So I get out of my car and I walk up there and I'm looking, and I see this big red button in the middle of this platform. So I go step on it, and the fish, you kind of zoom into the aquarium, and then the fish keep going, and then you see this one little tiny bit of fish food, which is just like a normal like one peg that's falling down, and the next thing you know, you have like a cheap come and go and eat it, and it's like, oh, there's a Nintendo character in this aquarium, that's pretty cool. And then the cheap gets all happy after it eats it and starts swimming fast and happy, and then a shark comes and is about to eat the cheap and then something else happens, and I'm just like, that is a really cool Nintendo cameo. And then right after that, I go to a section where I solve this little puzzle, and then you get the glowing bricks to build an item. I build the item, and it's actually a bomb. And then the little timer starts going, and I'm like, okay, he's chasing after me and he's going to explode. So I pick him up, not knowing what to do, and then I see this kind of glowing structure far away, so I run over to it, throw the bomb, and it explodes, and then I unlock a character. And it's just like, that's really cool to include all this like Nintendo stuff into this Lego game. Really, really, really like this game. Almost to the point where I was talking to some people today, and I said it's almost a must-own to people that have a Wii U, mainly because there's nothing else to play at all.
I was going to say that. Lloyd, are you just saying this because there's no other software on the platform?
Yeah, maybe some of the honeymoon feeling is coming back since I'm actually playing with my Wii U again. But this game it's good for kids. It's good for adults. It has like kind of the Simpsons humor where there's multiple layers of humor in the jokes, where kids laugh because someone farted or fell on their face or did something stupid. The parents laugh because it's something that's kind of rude, but not really, because it's done by like super smiling Lego people with funny voices. It's just a really awesome game. The missions, like the big open world is great. You can do things like find different blocks. There's super blocks. You can build super structures. You can unlock, as you progress in the game, different ways to play. So there's you could be a burglar and steal things. You could go in car chases. You can do time trials. And then there's missions, which are set up kind of like the old school kind of Lego ones, where you go into this enclosed area. It's not really an enclosed room, but you're in this enclosed mission where you're doing stuff, and then at the end you're graded. You can get like the true Jedi mode, but it's like true Lego Undercover mode or whatever. And then you can replay those to get better scores and things like that. So there really is something for everybody. About my only problem with this game is the load times are horrendous. Like when you first put the game in and you hit start, the image comes up on your Wii U, and it takes like 25 seconds before the like TT Games kind of loading screen comes up, and then you go to the game menu and you hit start, and then another menu comes up with a bit of a pause. You hit A, another menu comes up, you hit A, another menu comes up, you hit A, another menu comes up, you hit A. It's like loading, and then nothing's happening on the screen, and you look at the Wii U gamepad, and there's this little tiny progress bar, and like without a word of a lie, it takes about a minute to get into the game.
Wow.
And then you go into any building, like if you go into the police station or any of the missions, there's another loading screen that happens, and that's not as big, but it's still loading, and it's just like, okay, why are the load like? Are you not streaming this data in? Like, maybe they don't have the GTA kind of streaming in data thing going for them. So the load times are a bit of a pain in the butt, but I just like fire up Twitter or do something else on my iPad, so it's not a huge issue. But I kind of wish it wasn't there. It kind of puts a little bit of a little bit of dirt on almost a perfect little gem of a game. So anyway, I'm only, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 hours into it. I read some stuff online. If you do every single thing in the game, find every character, unlock every car, unlock every mission, unlock every red brick, get all the gold bricks, unlock all that stuff, there's probably like 40 to 60 hours worth of content in this game if you want to do everything. Okay. So it's huge. It is absolutely immense. You can climb buildings, scale buildings, fly. There's helicopters, there's boats, there's cars, there's motorcycles, like you name it. You can drive a Segway if you want. You can roll on a big boulder if you want. There's all sorts of things you can do. There's mini games like basketball, and you can ride rides at parks, and it's just like everything that you could think. Like if you thought like Grand Theft Auto, San Andreas story, or any of the other games that added a lot of like little mini games were done well, this is done just as well, if not better, with all the different things you can do. Like I'll be playing with my kids and they're like, hey, there's a bouncy castle, why don't you go see if you can do something with it? So I get out of my car, and sure enough, you can go bounce in the bouncy castle and unlock items by doing it and stuff like that. So really, really, really awesome game. I'm really glad that it did come out and that it is as good as it is. It's nice that it's a Wii U exclusive, because maybe it'll get a few more people to buy the Wii U, so it's not hurting as much as it seems to be right now, so that maybe more developers will make exclusive games for the console, so that we can really all validate our purchases if we bought the console. But yeah, if you're looking for a game to play on your Wii U, there's probably nothing better out right now than LEGO City Undercover.
That's a heck of an endorsement.
It's really good, man. I do urge you to check it out. If you like open world games, it's every bit as good as Grand Theft Auto has been over the years, just with a lot less violence, sex, drugs, and swear words. It's done really nicely, because it has all the nice, super, clean Lego humor, which is nice, because then I can play with my kids and I don't feel guilty.
Cool.
All right, well, let's move into the next section. Let's talk a little bit about notable releases, some stuff that's been released this week and coming up in the near future. I missed this release. I think it came out earlier this month. That's the Amazing Spider-Man Ultimate Edition. So it's the Amazing Spider-Man game that came out about a year ago on every other console. Now has a Wii U version. It's only $40, so it's not like they're asking $60 like the Mass Effects and Assassin's Creeds. And Batman, exactly.
Darksiders.
Yes, exactly.
The list goes on.
It does, yeah. All these games that were months old and they were full price on the Wii U, or even more expensive in some instances. This one's $40. It's the Amazing Spider-Man game that came out on the PS3 and the 360, but it has all 4 of the DLC bonus things that you could buy. So if you wanted to play as Stan Lee, I don't know if that one's in it, to tell you the truth, but I think all the other ones that are there that came out are available with this game as well, all for $40. So I might end up checking that out. We'll see kind of what happens if nothing else good comes out. Maybe that'll be one game that I'll be picking up to play with the kids. We also had Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate come out, which is both for the Wii U and 3DS. Wii U game is $60. The 3DS version is $40. So if you want to play on the go and on your console online, you'll be in for $100, which is a really great way for Capcom to really kind of reintroduce Monster Hunter to the North American audience. Ask everybody for $100. It seems kind of bizarre to me. So anyway, it's getting some really great reviews. I played Monster Hunter on the PSP, was not a huge fan. I'm really tempted to pick this one up just because people are saying that it is really, really good. The 3DS version you can't play online. The Wii U version you can, and there's a way that you can copy your save game back and forth. So I was reading some articles online where people bought both, and they're playing on the go, on the train, or on on the commute to work on their 3DS or to school on their 3DS, and then they get home and they upload their save to the Wii U, or they will when the tool is actually released, because it hasn't been released yet as far as I can tell. And then taking their characters online is kind of what their plan is. Seems like a lot to do for me. You can also play multiplayer, so if you have a Wii U version and other people have 3DSs, they can come to your house and you can all sync up into one multiplayer arena, and then other people can spectate on the television, because the television is really just used to kind of show kind of what's happening. So yeah, if you're into Monster Hunter, or if you're curious, you should probably check this one out online first before rushing out and spending $100, because that's a lot of cash. As I said, LEGO City Undercover is out if you can find it in stores. I don't know what happened. It was supposed to come out on Monday. Didn't. I got a call on Tuesday and picked it up. But I know some people in the States that pre-ordered at places like little gaming stores like GameStop. That you know,
places you might have heard of.
Yeah, they I think they sell games. I'm not quite sure. I've heard of this place before. But yeah, there's a lot of people that pre-ordered at GameStop and they don't even have copies for them yet. So I don't really know what's happening with this one. But if you can find it and you want to pick it up, please do. Or you can buy it online and download it, because it is available for digital download. But you do require a hard drive, an external hard drive for it, because it is 19 gigs to download, or 18 gigs to download. It's a fairly sizable game. If you have the Pro version, you probably don't need it, even though on the release list data sheet that comes up when you look on the Wii U, it does say it requires an external hard drive. So I don't know, maybe there's some strange limitation just to prevent people from filling up their internal memory on their Wii U. But you can also buy it digitally, is kind of what I wanted to say. A couple other things. Zen Pinball 2 is out on March 21st on the Wii U. So if you like virtual pinball sims, Zen Pinball's out on everything, absolutely everything. But the Wii U version is out on the 21st, which is kind of cool, which is tomorrow.
So far, no sign of the Star Wars tables.
No, I haven't seen those. It'll be out in about an hour. Actually, Nintendo doesn't really update their stuff that way, but yeah, it's almost tomorrow already from when we're recording this. So I'll definitely be checking that one out, because I do like playing some pinball. And then Luigi's Mansion and Pokemon Mystery Dungeon blah 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 is out next week as well. I'll be picking up Luigi's Mansion. I played the demo for Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, and although I do like roguelikes, I just can't get behind that one myself. So those are out as well. So we're getting some great releases. The 3DS continues to kind of kick every other console or portable's butt as far as releases are concerned. Probably the best system to own as a gamer right now, unless you're just a Call of Duty fan or something. But if you like playing a whole bunch of different styles of games, you can't really beat the 3DS. There's so many amazing games on that console right now, and other ones that are going to be coming in the next like 6 months. It's going to be kind of crazy. So
yeah. I think that the 3DS right now is really keeping the Wii U fan base afloat.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean? People who bought a Wii U, I hope they have a 3DS.
Yeah.
I really do.
We know that we're not giving you games for the big console you spent $400 on, but hey, Mario, hey, Luigi, hey, Pokemon, come on, love us. We're Nintendo. Yeah. All right,
Once again, another generation where their handheld blows their home console out of the water.
Yeah, might be the last home console, but I could see another generation or 5 of handhelds, because they apparently can't do no wrong with their handhelds.
Yeah, it's amazing to me. I'm actually at the point where, with the way the Wii U is right now, I don't think I'd be too upset if the Wii U was the last home console.
Oh, really? Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to say. I'd love to see what a next gen Wii would be, because we know, but that will be after the next console generation. We'll have a next console generation from Nintendo. They seem to always be trailing, which really kind of sucks. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, the Wii U really feeling some pain right now, which is really kind of sad to see.
We'll see.
See
what happens.
All right, moving on.
Really turned the 3DS around.
Yeah, well, totally. It was pretty much dead in the water, and all it took was a good price drop, and everybody was raw 3DS. So maybe the same thing will happen for Wii U. All right, moving on. Let's get into the news. First up, I just wanted to clue you guys into some of the games that are out as Club Nintendo downloads. So you can use your hard-earned coins to download some games. On the 3DS, you can pick up 3D Classics Kid Icarus, which I did and really, really kind of dig. So if you're into Kid Icarus and you want to play it in 3D, now you don't have to spend your like $8 or whatever it is. You can download it for 150 coins, which is kind of nice. The other 3DS game is Starship Defense, which it's kind of a shooter sort of thing. Not a huge fan, so I didn't pick that one up. And if you have a Wii or you're using the Wii channel on your 3DS, you can pick up Super Punch-Out for the Wii and also Mario Tennis for the Wii, which are both N64 titles, I believe. Or I guess Super Punch-Out would be not. It would probably be Super Nintendo.
Yeah, that's a Super NES game.
So why is it? Oh yeah, because they're not doing Super NES on the 3DS yet. So, interesting. So anyway, those are available for 150 coins each. So you can check those out and spend your hard-earned coins on some games, which is really kind of nice. For the people that did pre-order LEGO City Undercover online on the Wii U eShop channel, you're getting a $10 refund because initially the game was supposed to be $60 and then it came out at $50, which was awesome. $49.99 instead of $59.99. But if you did pre-order and pay for it, you'll be getting I think it's around $12 or something because it's $10 plus tax, or maybe it's not even $12. Maybe it's 10 something, but whatever, you're getting your $10 back, which is really kind of nice. Although it's not going to go back to your credit card. I believe they're just going to be putting it on your account. But either way, Nintendo's not punishing you for being an early adopter yet again by keeping your money this time. So that was just a nice little note for people out there that are using the eShop to pre-order their stuff. Steven, are you in the market for another 3DS XL? Because do I have one for you?
You're talking about the Pikachu one. You're being facetious.
Just a little bit.
You sir, are taking the piss.
I am. Yes, I am right now, and it is warm. No. So yeah, the Pikachu 3DS XL is coming out, and which is really kind of cool because we really don't get many special edition 3DSs up here in North America. So it was kind of neat to see that it was coming out, despite the fact that it looks like Pikachu has nipples because of where the 3D cameras are on. How horrible is that? That's just terrible. Like Nintendo.
Very entertaining.
Come on, what are you doing? So it's this
entertaining thing about this whole thing.
Oh, totally. It's this bright yellow and white 3DS XL. So it's really kind of cool. I mean, if I was a kid, I'd probably want that. That would be kind of neat. Just like if I was a kid when the Pikachu N64 was out, I probably would have wanted that. And Pikachu is very friendly. Kids love Pikachu. Myself, not so much, but I already have 3DS XL, so that's not so much. But if you're, or not so bad rather, but if you're in the market, when this comes out, which is going to be in Tuesday, I believe, or no, it'll probably be Sunday because they always release their stuff on Sunday. So it'll be on the 24th, I believe. Is that right? Yeah, I think that's my math is right.
Sunday.
So 24th, you'll be able to pick it up. And if you have a place like Target in your area, I know in Canada we don't have Target yet. Target's opening up here soon, but there's probably other retailers depending on what is popular in your market. They're actually going to be having it on for $160 at launch, so $40 off for the special edition, which is really kind of odd. They usually will drop the price of the normal ones and then sell you the special edition at full price. But this one is going to be $160, and I believe Target has all of their 3DS XLs on for $160, starting on the 24th of March. And the regular 3DSs are going to be $130, so it seems like a really great sale from Nintendo, which is perfectly timed because there's some amazing games coming out in the next little while, and this is really going to do a lot of good things for Nintendo's bottom line, I think.
I think so too. I think this is also no coincidence with the Vita price drop.
No, exactly. Did the Vita price drop actually happen in North America, or was it only Japan still?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think they dropped it in Japan, but they couldn't in North America because of the weak yen or strong yen or however currency changes happen. So yeah, this is a really great thing. I know this is right after GDC, so maybe this is kind of a, hey, developers, or I guess this is for the start of GDC, because GDC starts next week, I believe. believe. I'll have to do a Google search. So this might be a good timing for that as well, to kind of coerce some more developers to say, hey, come in, look, cheap stuff, cheap hardware. A lot of people are buying it. Make your game for us, not for those other consoles, not for that stupid PlayStation Mobile thing that you're thinking about. Don't do that. Make it for the 3DS, and you'll sell lots of games. So anyway, the short story after the long explanation is that you can get a Pikachu 3DS XL or any other color that you want on the 24th for sale for $160 at most retailers. So that's a really, really great price. So if you don't have an XL, I highly recommend it. I traded up from my 3DS to a 3DS XL, and I don't know how I lasted with the small screens for as long as I did.
Oh god, yeah, it's a whole different platform.
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, the resolution isn't any higher, but I don't care. It's beautiful big screens, which is really, really nice. All right, moving on. So we talked about Fire Emblem already earlier. Have you played Awakening yet, Steven?
I played the demo.
The demo. It's good, and it's weird that I see other people that are talking about Fire Emblem, because it's not a franchise that really, really did well here in North America ever. It was kind of like the hardcore gamers would get into it, but it didn't really have like mass market appeal because it was very punishing. So I guess the changes that they've done, plus it's with the DLC and all the other advertising that Nintendo's done, they've done a really good job. It also has a Metacritic score of 92, which also helps. I hear people like to buy games that are reviewed well for some strange reason. But anyway, it was announced that Fire Emblem Awakening has broken a franchise record and the best first month ever for a Fire Emblem title. They announced sales of 180,000 units, and that is about 63,000 of those units being digital, which is pretty amazing. That's like a third of the downloads or a third of the purchases are digital, not go to the store and pick it up. Probably because there was
profit for Nintendo.
Oh yeah, totally. And it's probably because they were constrained at a lot of places as well. You couldn't really find it. And they say by comparison, the previous handheld entrant in the franchise was Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon, and that sold 250,000 units life to date in the US. So this one sold almost as much as that one in the first month, almost as much as that other game sold in its whole lifetime. So that's pretty crazy, and that's good things, because Fire Emblem is a really great franchise, especially now that it's been kind of sanitized for the general populace. Made it so you can play the game without all your characters dying. By them dying, they come back to life at the end of the battles, which is really, really great. I love Fire Emblem, and I'm really happy to see this one doing so well.
Cool. Me too.
And 200,000 copies is pretty damn good for a portable game. So that's good stuff. Or 180, but this is an old report, so maybe it is closer to 200,000 right now. Moving on. Flipnote Studio was a big hit for a while on the DSi when it came out. It was a really cool thing. You could make like flipbook animations. They had a website that you go to, which Flipnote Hatina or however you pronounce that. You probably know, Steven, because
it's Hatina.
You're crazy like that, man. I could throw out a Japanese word and you know the proper pronunciation. You're awesome. You are awesome.
I took Japanese in college.
I know. That's why it's so good. I need to have you as like on speed dial, so I can just like FaceTime you and like point you at some stuff, and then you would just tell me how to pronounce it. Can we do that?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure,
awesome.
that works.
So anyway, that website's been open for a while, and there's actually some like real artists that have done these flip notes and posted their things up there, and it's been great. Well, it's not so great anymore because Nintendo announced Flipnote Studio 3D for the 3DS, which people are saying, what? That's not great? No, because it was also announced the same day that the Flipnote DSi version and the Hatina website will be shutting down on May 31st. So they're not keeping it around because it's being used by people. So that would make sense to me if there's if you want people to use your stuff, you keep it up, and you don't sell the game anymore. Who cares? You keep the stuff up, and people use it, and it develops this life of its own. Maybe getting some of those people to buy a 3DS, but no, for some reason that is not happening. So when Flipnote Studio 3D comes out, the DSi version is going to go bye-bye, which has made a lot of people sad, and there's been a lot of hate directed towards Nintendo. So we'll see how that goes. I wouldn't be surprised with this one to see that deletion kind of go away. That they'll say, we made a mistake. We didn't actually mean to announce that we're shutting down the website. We meant to say we're not shutting down the website. Just a word fell off our press release.
Or more like, we're happy to see so much support for it, so we will extend the deadline by a week.
Yeah, exactly. As a thank you to our loyal customers, we'll give you one more week to enjoy your 8-frame animations. Enjoy.
And a 99-cent discount on Flipnote 3D.
No, you can access all your old images by paying $6 in DLC with the new version on your 3DS. That seems to be Nintendo's new way of doing things. So anyway, it's great news. I enjoyed Flipnote Studio for the little while that I played with it back on my DSi, and I'll be really interested to doing about the same thing on my 3DS, playing with it for about a week and then moving on to other things. Just there's too many things out there, and I just can't handle them all.
Should I pick up the DSi version now, you think?
Sure, yeah. If you want to get a month or two of use out of a game, sure, go for it.
We used it for like a week, so
it was free for the longest time too. And
I probably got it when it was free. I think I have. Does it have a frog as a? Yeah,
I think it does.
Oh yeah, I have it, and it wouldn't transfer.
Right.
When I did the migration from the DSi to the 3DS.
Right. They had this in their plans all along, Steven. It's a big conspiracy.
Been planning it for years.
Yes. All right, moving on. We'll just get near the end of the show today. We're going to talk about some game announcements, which is great because, especially for the 3D or for the Wii U, because there's so few games on the system. It was announced this week that it was leaked prior to the announcement, and it was denied for many, many days. But it has been confirmed that Deus Ex Human Revolution Deluxe Director's Cut Edition will be coming to the Wii U. So Deus Ex isn't a new game. It's been out for, 9 months or something. It's been out for a while on the 3DS, or sorry, the 360 and the PlayStation 3. But this is going to be coming to the Wii U as well with full Wii U gamepad mode. So all the hacking and item management and all that other stuff is done right on the Wii U pad. With the Wii U gamepad, and apparently they're going to be putting in off-screen play as well, so you can just play it right on your gamepad as well. So if you haven't already picked up Deus Ex, it's going to be another game that you can pay $60 for that you could have bought for that price many, many, many months ago.
Yep, and Miiverse integration, and they're apparently they're patching, they're changing the mechanics on the boss battles. I guess a lot of people were complaining about the boss battles,
right?
So they're changing them up.
That makes sense.
You have different ways to beat the bosses depending on how you're playing. If you're doing a stealthy or a hacking type attack on the bosses.
Yeah, I'm happy about this one. This is a game that I wanted to pick up, but there's just so many games coming out, and I play so many to talk about on all my different shows, and I also have kids and a full-time job, so maybe doing this thing because that's how I picked up some other games like re-releases, and it's like, oh, I have a free week here where I don't have any game that I have to play to talk about on a show, so I go and pick it up. I might do the same thing with Deus Ex. We'll have to see, but it's great to see more Wii U games announced. It would be nice if they were really new Wii U games.
Yeah,
but that might be asking a lot right now when they're selling, what was it, like 50,000 units in a month, which was like the lowest console sales ever reported in North America. I think Nintendo has a few problems on their hands that
sure.
Old games being sold as new is probably not right up there as their number one problem.
Right.
Also announced was this really great Kickstarter out there for kind of a 2D platformer called Shovel Knight. It was supposed to come to the PC, but they got so far in what they were doing, they raised so much money that they are going to be releasing on the Wii U and 3DS as well. So this is a company, it's called Yacht Club Games, and it's a Way Forward, basically people that left WayForward to join this company. So they're good at 2D games because that's what WayForward did. So if you're into 2D side scrollers, if you like really awesome pixel art, you'll definitely want to check this one out. They're asking for $75,000. They've already raised, I'm looking at it right now, almost 44. So they're most of the way there, and there's still 23 days left to go for when we're recording this. It looks really good. You play this knight that has a shovel. Which is kind of weird with the name being Shovel Knight. I wouldn't have put that together. But yes, you play a knight with a shovel, and it reminds me a lot of like DuckTales back on the NES. Like you're side scrolling, you're bouncing on people with your shovel, you're hitting things. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, okay, that's DuckTales. That's like one of my favorite old school games that I don't own. I want to play this game just because of that. So it has some other things going for it as well, but I am really happy that this is coming out, and I'm even more happy that I'll be able to play it on my Wii U or my 3DS. So we'd like to talk about Kickstarters here on the network every once in a while. And this one looks like it could be really cool. So do check it out. I think if you want a Wii U version or a 3DS version, I think you have to pledge at the $15 level. So if you're comfortable with that and you want to support them and help them get to where they need to be, please do over at Kickstarter.com. If not, wait till it gets released on the eShop. Then you don't have to worry about potentially backing them for a game that will never ship. So do check that one out. Shovel Knight by Yacht Club Games. People from Way Forward, which is put out some really great games in the past. So do check that one out. Cool. Are you interested in that one at all, Steven? Are you a 2D platformer?
This is the first that I've heard of it, but yeah, it sounds good.
It looks really good. Do you remember DuckTales?
I do remember DuckTales.
What an awesome game that was, and just the whole bouncing on the cane. This and like Jules, it brought me right back to like playing it at my friend's house, and I really wish that was one game I owned on my NES. I'm gonna have to go look for that one because I'd love to play it.
Music and the moon level.
Oh God, just everything about the game was just perfect. Back when developers had to be perfect because there was no such thing as patching. So everything was
secret best Mega Man game.
Yeah. Exactly. All right, moving on. Some other game announcements. Mighty Switch Force 2 was announced for the 3DS. So Mighty Switch Force was just released on the Wii U, which was a redone version of the 3DS title. And, well, this one is coming out as well. It was just announced on the 20th, which happens to be today. So it's a fresh announcement, and they will be coming hopefully by the end of the year in North America and Europe and Australia by WayForward, which is a company that we might have just talked about. Yeah. If you're into platforming, Switch Force has always been kind of fun. I picked up the Wii U version, and just the animation just looked incredibly, sorry, I can't speak, beautiful. Just the way that they did full frame animation on the Wii U. Looking at some of the screenshots that were released for the second version on the 3DS, looks really, really, really great. So if you're into Mighty Switch Force, you can be happy that knowing that by the end of the year you will have, or hopefully by the end of the year, you will have version 2, the second release, the sequel, as you might say, coming out on your favorite 3D handheld.
Your favorite 3D Nintendo branded handheld
with a stereoscopic top screen. It'll be on that device. I'm not going to say what it is, but it is on that one.
We're being subtle here. We're making references.
A little bit.
You can pick them up.
Yes. All right. Last but not least, a game that I love and a game whose music I'll play before we finish the show is that Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D finally has a release date. It's been talked that it was going to be coming out in summer or spring-summer, but I don't believe an actual release date was given up until earlier this week, and it will be coming out on May 24th. Which is awesome because it's the day before my birthday, so I know what I'm going to ask for my birthday.
Now I know when Lloyd's birthday is.
Yes, you do. Everybody does now. Damn it. I let the cat out of the bag. That's terrible. But yes, Nintendo will be releasing this one on your 3DS on May 24th. So you can look forward to another really awesome title to play on your handheld. This is the 3D version. It's the 3DS version of the Wii title. So it's something that's kind of new, but it was a lot of fun when it came out, and I can't wait to pick it up and play it on the 3DS to see what they've kind of added to it. It looks really good. It looks really, really good. All right. Well, I think that's going to about do it, Steven, unless you have anything else to add at the end of the show.
Don't buy LoSMoF.
Never buy anything called LoSMoF. That just sounds like a really debilitating disease.
It does.
Does not sound good.
It's something very itchy.
Yes. Take lots of penicillin and you'll be fine, kids.
Yes. Unless you're allergic.
Yes, that's true.
Don't.
That's true. Do not take it without doctor's orders, because I am not a doctor.
You're not doctors, right?
I am not a doctor. All right, moving on to letting you guys know how to contact us. Let's put some music on. We're just talking about Donkey Kong, so let's put that on. We'd love to hear from you guys. Thanks for staying subscribed, tuning in, and downloading the podcast. And thanks to all the people that sent in emails and contacted us on Twitter and all the other ways that you contacted us. Appreciate it. Love it. Love each and every one of you. Head on over to VGPodcast.com and let us know what you think of the show by clicking contact us or by emailing us directly at VGPodcast@gmail.com. We do have a voicemail line, which is area code 505 VG Podcast. We haven't had too many voicemails as of late, but if you want to leave us a voicemail, you can use like your Facebook app or your Gmail free phone calling. Leave us a voicemail and we'll play it on future episodes of the podcast. So yeah, we want to hear from you guys, so please do. But anyway, thanks for listening, thanks for subscribing, and Steven, thanks for joining me again today.
Hey, good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, my pleasure, my pleasure. All right, guys, we'll talk to you in a week or two. Enjoy your Nintendo games. There's lots of them to play right now. Take it easy, guys.